Hello, welcome to Business Palava. So this is our very first episode on Business Palava. It is a platform where we'll share relatable experiences of our businesses from myself, from other vendors to help you business-oriented person, small business, big brands, upcoming businesses to thrive in their business and grow from where you are to the next level. So today on Business Palava, I'll be sharing my experience on how I started my business. Okay, I'll start by saying if you really want to succeed in life, you should shut down every voices, especially negative voices that would want to distract you or want to tell you that you can't do this or what will people say or how would I go about this. Because if you keep on paying attention and listening to those things, you will never ever start or succeed in whatever you're doing, not just business, anyways. But because we're talking about business, we move. So life happened to me. Should I tell you what's happened? Just focus on how I started. So life happened to me. I lost everything that I had. I was emotionally down, physically down, psychologically down, everything down. Like my life was really shut down, kind of started afresh. Oh God, it was not easy. It was not easy. But do you know this saying that they say, when you are broke, that is when ideas, a lot of things that you want to do start pumping up, pumping up, pumping up. That was what really happened to me. I had not, it's not like, well, when I was, not like I wasn't doing anything. I'm a baker. I do a lot. People that knows me know that I do a lot, like, but life just happened and I lost everything. Just, I like started from the scratch. Started from the scratch. Like if you have had experience like this, you understand what I mean. Losing all that you have worked for years in a blink of an eye. But I had to pick myself up. I had to pick myself up. So I started thinking, although I've always wanted to go into foodstuff business, because during that COVID-19 period, I was like, more like I was like during that COVID-19 period, I was like, school could have ever thought that school would ever shut down, like something that will happen that make school education to be on hold for a while and then kick off later. So I just figured out that there are two things that never really shut down. It was hospital and food. I've always had intentions of doing food because I know I've always wanted to do something that will be giving me money every day, something that I will know once I put my money, I'll be getting money every day, and people always consume every day. So I decided to settle on food. I had other things I was doing, I've worked, I have an idea of hospital equipment. Okay, I've had an experience where I worked for someone, hospital equipment. And from there, I took eye because me, I love to chook a lot. So I put my eyes in where they are selling medicine. So I had interest in that, although I've not learned it, but I know that it's something I want to do when I have big money, plenty money. I want to do that. Those two businesses. Don't worry, I will tell you about it in our subsequent videos. So I was doing a lot. So during that COVID-19 period, I was like, what can I do? I noticed that school was shut down. Practically everything in the country was shut down. You get but you see medicine, that's we see hospital and food wasn't really shut down. People, there are times that will tell you go and buy the food from, okay, there are times they said you go and buy food, you can buy food so day, or so time, people were still eating, So I said to myself, I had to settle down to food stuff. Like, I really want to do food, but then how do I start? How do I start? That was the question I kept asking myself. Who will I go to? Who will teach me? I don't even know my right from my left. Like, how do I start? That was the question I kept asking myself. And this thing they say that when you are thinking about a thing, you start attracting those things. So that was how I entered Facebook one day. And boom, I now saw an advert about expedition class. And they were talking about how to export foodstuff outside Nigeria and make good cash with or no capital, with or no capital or little capital. Omo, hey, trust Nigerian people now. Anywhere they say with little or no capital, what am I doing with myself now? I said, okay, fine, let me dive into it. I didn't have money then. I had to collect money from my dad, my support system, my best base, my biggest support system. So I told him, which I think is 17 or 15,000 naira then. So he gave me, I paid back anyway. So don't think I didn't pay back. I paid back. So I got the money from him and I enrolled on that class. And they taught us. They taught us, but come on. I should not say what I saw. Abby, I should say anything that you are learning online, just be careful. Make sure, do your researches. Make sure that the person is really, really intentional about what he or she is doing and will want to teach you. There are people that have the knowledge, but they'll just give you preamble of the value of what you're paying for is not there. So that was how it is. All the promises they made to us, they gave us that the market is big, the space is the space is large. You have a lot of people you can supply. I cannot do it alone. I need people that will come and do work with me. Oh my goodness, it was enticing and promising you know. So I used the little money I had, I collected from my daddy and rushed into the class. I registered into the class and was waiting and anticipating for it. But boom, the class came, well learned. They taught us what they could, and they just they brought you in the middle of the sea and left you. Oh my goodness. I didn't know where to start again. The only thing I could say, the only advantage I got from that class was that it kind of opened my eyes, one. And secondly, um, it's it helped me to know that I can utilize the online space, especially Facebook, to make sales. Yes, to make massive sales. Like that was what I really, really know that the class that I gained from the class. Apart from that, so and that's it. So in the class, they told us that we should join groups. Join groups. I didn't even know that groups like that existed where you can advertise what you are selling. So that was how after the class for a while I was joining groups. They will tell you to introduce yourself, advertise what you are selling, even if you are not the one that owns it. Just find pictures online, utilize it, and then make adverts about it. So we were doing it until one day we have I don't it wasn't just me anyways. We are practically, but let me use myself. I was practically joining groups, Nigerian in diaspora, Africa in diaspora, Nigerian food stuff, Kiniko. There is no group I didn't join. I joined a lot of groups, you know. So fast forward to how I really started. At a point, nothing was happening. The class, they left us in the middle of nowhere. They just partitioned us into group, like each state. Like we have Lagos group, we have the East, we have Port Harcourt, we have so many groups. So we are just, it is on our own on the group that we are trying to do things for ourselves. from we are just being, dangling and don't even know where to start from until people that had little experience started coming up with ideas. And funny enough, it didn't work on the long run. I'll get to that part later. So one day, I said to myself, because when I entered the group, I saw people advertising a lot. People advertising gari, rice, a lot, like different types of food stuff. I said to myself, like, I know in my village you have gari, produce gari very, very well. And the gari from my place is very good, it's very nice. I'm from Ebonyi State, actually. Mbo, precisely, Ohuku local government area. That's where I'm from. So I now say to myself, like, my people have oil, will have rice, will have obono, will have gari. Like, let me just start with gari. So, and our market is every 5 days. So one day, I didn't know, just a spirit entered into me. I stood up, boom. I didn't even bath. I stood up, I went to the market and started asking. I asked the price. I compared it to what is online. Oh my god, I was like, are you serious? If we are selling like this, I can sell like this and make my money. So that was it. I made some inquiries. I went to the market, asked people how things are being done there. Then I now went to ask for transportation. I discovered that there is a truck that always take people's goods, especially we have truck for Port Harcourt, Owerri. You have bus for Enugu, Onitsha, Sha, but those ones are not really known or popular like that of Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt buy food garri from my place a lot. Like in a market, you have like 15 trucks loading garri to Port Harcourt, and you know how many 200 and something bags in a truck times it by 15. You understand what I'm talking about? So Port Harcourt no get food now, so that's it. So Owerri people too comes to my market to buy. Enugu people too comes to my market to buy. So I was like, oh my goodness. So if these people are coming, I can actually do something and start making money from it. So that was how I rushed to and jumped and entered into business. That was how I started Qxanda's food. So that was how I started Qxanda's food, Gary. So it's a win-win for me. Clap for me. I tried, right? So at this point, let me pause. There is no business in this life that doesn't have its challenges. Whether you are selling pepper, you are selling pure water, you are selling gari, you are pushing barrow, and don't know what business, the least business you can think of, there is no business that doesn't come with challenges. My brothers, my sisters, that was how this baby girl started to sell Gary online. So I started Gary business. My brothers, my sister, business is not for the faint of heart. See my next video where I continue my story.